when we were there watching that film, it is like this thing is a nostalgia punch in the face for me. That's the thing is it holds up, but I think I don't know what
some of the humor. I would say probably for like modern audiences is like a little. I don't know. People are dumb.
Well, it's pretty misogynistic.
Sure.
It very much is.
But I mean, does it bother me? No.
Cool. Hey, Gretchen.
Hey.
We're back for another episode.
We are.
And I am so excited. I'm always excited. I always say that. Have I not been? I wasn't excited.
I don't think we ever bring like an energy that we're not excited about a film. I mean, even if it's like a hard to talk about film.
I wasn't excited to talk about Boon Me. Uncle Boon Me was a tough one.
That was your fault.
That was my fault. Well, I was excited to talk about it. I wasn't excited about the film.
Yeah.
It was my experimental phase.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a year.
Oh my goodness, it has been a year.
Long forgiven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So, so what we're going to be talking about then, instead of Uncle Boon Me 2, the resurrection, which I hope doesn't exist, we're going to talk about the 1981 animated film Heavy Metal. Oh, so good.
This was great. And luckily, we both got to see this in 35 millimeter at the Hollywood Theater.
The way it should be seen, yes.
Oh my God. Like, I have never seen that on that formula. Like, I've never even seen it in the big theater. How about that?
That was the only time for me too.
I've seen it on multiple other formats, like at viewing parties, at back room screenings, on my own television, whatnot. But this was the first time I'd ever seen it on the big screen, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. This is the first time I've ever seen it on the big screen. The first time I ever watched it was on VHS.
Yeah, same.
And then I owned a DVD copy, not a Blu-ray copy. I owned the soundtrack on cassette. I never owned the vinyl on it. I haven't had a record player. So my parents did growing up, but I've never personally owned a record player. So yeah, I had this. I had a cassette. I still own the cassette. Actually, I have 2 cassette tapes still.
Oh, wow.
I don't even have the means to play them, but I kept this one purposely because it is an original cassette that I bought in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Of heavy metal soundtrack. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. Man, this film, it's such a wild, crazy ride. Watching it in 35 millimeter was just the best ever. Yeah.
All of the noise, like the pops, and getting to see like the different types of style of animation and how that translated to 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Oh, it was so amazing. Yeah. So, well, if you're just now joining us and you haven't been here before, this is the Check the Gate podcast, in which Gretchen and I watch a movie each episode and then we talk about it, but we never know where the discussion is going to go because we don't ever script it and we're basically just flying by the seat of our pants. And
sometimes we get facts wrong.
Sometimes we get facts wrong, but we're not.
It's not our job.
Like there are right. A lot of this is about us discussing the films, and then we're kind of going off of memory and feeling and all of that. Sometimes we'll double check ourselves. We'll look on IMDb or we'll check our notes, but this is really about us just loving films and talking about them. And I mean, that's what this whole thing was about. It was always just about just how much I love talking about films with you. I just decided to put a microphone in front of us and do it on the regular.
Yeah, I guess we should share that with everybody.
Yeah, so it's not always it's not about always getting the facts 100% right, remembering exactly what year something was made, but do you have when do you think was the first time you ever saw this film?
I saw this probably on MTV.
Oh, did it play on MTV?
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah, because this is like a Canadian production, right? And somehow, like, I remember it being on like a late night on MTV, or if not there, it might have been USA Up All Night that I also got to see it.
Oh, man.
And I feel like I saw it in fragments first,
yeah,
and then didn't know what I was watching, but I'm almost positive I've seen this on MTV. I think this was where I first saw this.
Wow.
Like one night after Headbangers Ball, they played heavy metal, and I was like, okay, here we go. And I mean, what roped me in is like just the beauty of like certain segments of this, and certain segments of this film has like each anthology I feel like has affected a lot of other things pop culturally.
Definitely.
Sure.
Do you still consider this film, considering we just watched it on a 35 millimeter print on a giant screen, does the beauty hold up to you in the same way?
It's different for me now because like I think it's a lot of nostalgia, looking back for this on nostalgia.
Definitely.
I mean, this was one of those things that this was like the first time I'd ever seen a female warrior style character and like a sexy Red Sonja-esque kind of cartoon character.
Yeah.
Right? Like I had this was the only of these types of films like I had never seen like what Sword and Ice or something like that, and the what's the other one that's like the kind of a similar vibe.
What, like more modern stuff?
No, of that era.
Oh, back then?
Yeah, it was like Red and something.
Well, there was a Red Sonja movie that was made. I don't remember.
No,
like,
but
that
like
was like
cartoons.
Cartoons.
There was like some sword and sorcery cartoons at the time, like Wizards and things like that.
Yeah, Wizards, which it was a crazy Bakshi film. That's hard. Sometimes hard to like get through certain sections of that one. What's another one in there? I mean, I can't think of one that's like an animated one in there.
I thought there was like a Sword and Ice or something like that.
There might have been, and I just don't know about it.
Yeah, so this was like that style of film. This was the first time I've ever seen that style of thing. And now reflecting back on it, I'm like, oh, well, no wonder this is from this, and this. And yeah. Art-wise, which I don't want to go too far into since this is your story.
That's okay. No, I mean, I asked the question because when we were there watching that film, it is like this thing is a nostalgia punch in the face for me. That's the thing is it holds up, but I think I don't know what
some of the humor. I would say probably for like modern audiences is like a little. I don't know. People are dumb.
Well, it's pretty misogynistic.
Sure.
It very much is.
But I mean, does it bother me? No.
Yeah.
Like this was a cartoon. Like it doesn't affect me as far as it didn't change my role as a woman, but like sure. There are some funny stereotypes and things like that that I loved that I thought were hilarious. That probably would offend a more modern audience.
So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't take any part of this serious.
Right.
And I mean, I think, which we'll get to it, for as much as our two pilots in the segment do the Nyborg, sorting Nyborg.
Yeah.
I think everybody else was like probably just loaded out of their mind on this thing. And they were just like, yeah, man, fuck it. That's what we're going to draw. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Nyborg got the good Nyborg, man.
That's right. Hey, man, do we have any more of that Nyborg? Yeah. It's in the compartment, man.
Oh, man, this was great.
So, this film is so good. So if you haven't ever seen the film before, which I would have loved to have asked people in the movie theater if they'd never seen it before when we watched it, but this is inspired by the heavy metal comic book.
The Metal Hurlant.
Yes,
the
Metal
French.
Hurlant was the earliest version of it.
The French version.
Yeah, and then the American release was Heavy Metal. And that ran for quite a long time. I don't know when I don't think it runs anymore. It did end at some point. Does it still?
It's back.
Oh,
it's back,
baby. So it went away and came back.
Yeah.
And then I know that they did do like another animated one of these that I haven't seen before that starred Julie Strain in it. It was like, Heavy Metal 2000. And that's kind of been the general reaction. I may watch it just to be a completist, but the idea is that we have one kind of setup and narrator of this film, but we go through all of these different vignettes.
It's an
we
anthology.
have all of these, exactly. We go through all of these little short stories through there that are all connected by this one entity.
The Lochnar.
Our Lochnar, absolutely.
The sum of all evil.
Right. And they're about to deal out their judgment on somebody and we have no idea why, but in the process of doing that, they basically go through and explain who they are in the greater vastness of time and space because this thing covers a bunch of time
and space.
Yeah, and different places, different I mean arguably even dimensions, anything
Well,
like
it starts
that.
off as being brought home as a gift from a father in the soft landing segment,
Yes.
the Grimaldian soft landing segment
Yep.
with a great opening song. Wow. This. There's just so many, like, we've got some
The
good
music
Sammy
in this
Hagar.
oh man,
I mean,
I
like,
can go on and on about
we're
this
gonna- we're
soundtrack.
gonna.
Yeah. Sammy Hagar, which I was a huge Sammy Hagar fan back in the day. I'm not so much anymore, but like I loved my Hagar and I loved my Van Hagar days, very much so. This was Dan Felder that has this first song in there, who has I think like 4 or 5 different songs in there, but he has this lead heavy metal song.
so cool.
Oh man, one of my favorite Cheap Trick songs ever, and when it kicks in during that's I'm thinking of this segment, but it's where they bring up Hanover Fist to be in there. That's
Captain Stern. That's my favorite.
Stern. Yeah,
that's my
yeah,
favorite
Stern.
segment.
Yeah,
But I don't want to go too far into it.
I don't
That's
want
my
to
favorite
either, but like
segment.
the Cheap Trick song that's in that one,
So good.
and Blue Oyster Cult Devo has got some stuff in here. Oh, and then the Black Sabbath that has Ronnie James Dio in there.
Which is-
That's Mob Rules.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Not a song that people know very well, I don't think. That Mob Rules one.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
good.
so good. Like, man, it just like it perfectly timed in this film. Like, yeah, that's this movie. So, kind of coming back to where I was and wondering how some people reacted to it, because I remember sitting there in the theater watching this thing, going, "This animation isn't so great. There's all sorts of gaps in it," and I loved every second of it.
Well, we have
'Cause I
different
just-
formats, right?
Yeah.
So like for like some of it is rotoscope,
Yep.
especially like the Tarna stuff. The B-17 stuff is rotoscoped.
Yep.
And it's amazing.
That's one of my B-17 is one of my favorite segments
Yeah.
in there. That one's so good.
Then there's like different, well, and the funny thing about the Tarna stuff is like, that's the, like kind of the Mobius,
Yeah.
like knockoff.
Right.
Yeah. So originally.
Yeah. Well, he
they-
was a part of it.
No.
Wasn't he? Or he was due to be a part of it.
Mobius was part of Metal Hurlant, right? And they wanted to use his character, the pterodactyl thing that Tarna rides. That's Mobius's design. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me at this point. But originally, Gerard was like, he had drawn this, and they were trying to get permission to do it, and he was like, no. And they kind of hire animators to do that, his style of stuff. Like you see it especially like in the Harry Canyon segment.
Great.
It's
Yeah.
When I first rewatched this on just like watching it, I was like, is that Mobius's art? Because it has like Mobius has a very distinct like dotting that he uses for texturizing and like reliefing and
Like doing stipple type of a work.
that you see that very prevalent in his work, and so that's what made me think immediately that this was Mobius's work. It's actually not his stuff. It's just somebody who's doing a copy of it.
Yeah. Well, and some of the way things transitioned too felt very like Mobius style. In the Tarna one, we're gonna probably go through all these in some way. So
Well,
I'm
that
jumping a
Tarna
little
one
bit
and
ahead.
the Harry Canyon one are to me are the two very like the ones that stick out as Mobius's like mimicry
Right.
like of his stuff. Except for they rotoscoped like the Tarna stuff, but the character that they used and like the kind of world that they're in
Right.
feels like Mobius's stuff.
Right. Yeah. All of the pipes and the landscape that's in there, and there's a transition between we have a like a one line animated character that ends up dying, a little young bald guy who's like in a throne room, who dies very close up and kind of in a grody way, and then transitions into a piece of landscape that is out there. And when I see that transition shift to where all of this machinery and mechanical stuff is mimicking that person that had just died there, I was like, man, that, I don't know, it just felt very Mobius like.
Oh, and so I mean, just there was this is just gorgeous. Like all of it, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. Like the Captain Stern stuff was was created originally by Bernie Wrightson, which I mean is so good.
Captain Stern stuff is so
That
great.
is literally my favorite story. That one.
Oh, is
and
that one?
I've fallen
that
in
one
love
is
with
good.
Den, but later. But like, my first was I love the Hanover Fist.
Right.
And he's all
Calling
wow.
Hanover Fist. Yeah. I've got an angle. You know who
I
the
love
voice
that.
of Hanover Fist is? That's Eugene Levy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that is Eugene Levy.
That's Eugene Levy, and he's a couple of different voices.
Yeah,
there.
he's in
Eugene Levy, John Candy.
John Candy does the voice of Den, and also the robot
Yep.
from So Beautiful and So Dangerous.
Yep, he's a cop in the beginning one with Harry.
Yes. Yep.
Yep, he's a cop in that one, and then Rick
Well, that's what I
Moranis
was
returns
saying.
in this.
Well, that's what I was saying. This is a Canadian production, so
Yes.
they use a lot of Canadian
Yeah.
actors like those two.
Yep.
Very SCTV people, which is weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Harold Ramis
Yes.
is in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so great. I'm gonna curb it because I'm just gonna keep saying it's so great. I really do enjoy this movie so much. I'm surprised at how much joy I found in watching this whole thing.
It's so silly and also great, you know. And I remember when the first time I watched it, I was thinking, how is this like heavy metal? But I didn't really understand it when I first saw it because I was younger. I mean, this was like 1981. So I saw this on. I just happened to be up one night and seeing it on MTV.
Yeah.
And I think that I probably didn't get the heavy metal aspects of it. But like later watching it, of course, you're like, all right, well, yeah, it's because Ozzy and Cheap Trick and there are also people like Stevie Nicks has got music in this and Blue Oyster Cult and like, so not like the traditional heavy metal all the way through, but like kind of a cooler heavy metal bands, like like a little bit more obscure, and then like not a heavy metal band like Devo.
Right, yeah. Devo's got a couple of tunes in there, and crazy one. And then Devo is the house band too in Tarna the Taraki, and in there in the bar, which is just and the version that they have of them animated there and the weird instruments that they're playing is just it's so good. The guy's playing that weird little neck thing that's like on a keyboard and whatnot. Yeah, it's just it's so much fun. Well, how. I'm happy to be either like a scatter shot across the thing, just talk about the whole thing in general, or like go down each venue. Yeah, you want to.
We should do each anthology.
Yeah.
We don't have to tell the entire plot of each anthology, but like,
Sure.
I feel like it because it is important to the art and the music that we talk about each one. I mean, so our first segment is what Grimaldi's Soft Landing, right? That's the astronaut when he's coming home, like that beautiful shot of like the car with the parachute into like and wearing a
that
like
Corvette.
an astronaut.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
It's so cool.
It's such a cool like. To me, it's what's so cool about that is it's not just because the car is rad, but and the principal idea of an astronaut driving a car through space and then a parachute is part of the landing.
It's re-entering the atmosphere from a shuttle in orbit.
That art is so much more interesting to me than the Grimaldi artwork. Like so when he gets out of the car, it's like the art changes.
Right.
And we have a shift, but I think that opening format with like the soft landing stuff is like that is so spectacular.
Yeah.
It's such a great way to start the tale.
Yeah.
And then when he gives his daughter the gift, he pulls it out of the car, out of the crate, and he's like, "I got something for you, honey," and like immediately melts like Indiana Jones and the
it just atomizes him right in front of his daughter,
and that's when we begin our story of telling us this. I am the sum of all of evils, and this is my story, and you are my chosen one. And she is being forced to be a forced narrator, or like a forced narrator, right, of this story?
Well, the Lochnar is the narrator. She's the forced audience.
Yeah, so she's the captive audience for this.
Right.
And then we go into the first tale, which feels very left field with Harry Cannon's story, because it's like very far future situation. Like he's like, a very noir kind of like, I'm Harry Canyon, I'm a taxi driver. And some people.
Such a great, yeah.
It's such a cool, like, future, like, terrible future situation. Like, the cops are all bad and everybody's kind of gross. And, but we see like where the Lochnar presence is in
right.
this.
It's a totally broken down society situation.
Well, it's like it's
some kind of odd
a
future.
possible future for us kind of situation.
Right. Yeah. So the Harry Canyon story has arguably one of the craziest edit decisions of any of these anthology stories.
Yeah, you think?
Oh, absolutely. When everything's going down with Harry Canyon, so Harry Canyon gets his first rider, he nukes that guy. Then we've got the scientist is making a break from it for the mobsters. He gets nailed. The daughter is running off with the Lochnar, jumps into his thing. They take off. There is a moment where there's a transition where they go to Journey's song Loving Arms.
Yes.
At the wrong time. And it's like, what is going on? This has nothing to do with this song going to Loving Arms. And it's so awkward and weird. And I can't help but love it.
Wasn't it playing on the radio or something like that?
It's something like that, but it transitions because the song keeps going and becomes the soundtrack of that section. Not it's playing right, exactly. It plays into the sex scene when they get back to his apartment and all of that plays out, where it's just like, this is crazy, that Loving Arms, but it's the transition to that song that's so awkward. It's weird.
I wonder if that was meant to be like stilting like that. Like, I wonder if it was supposed to be disarming like that.
It very well could be. Like I said, it could also be that this is like these guys are loaded up on Nyborg and they're just like, yeah, man, fuck it, whatever. Journey.
Loving Arms. And then the Lochnar gets carried off.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, she ends up making a deal with the gangsters and she tries to run off with the money and Harry Canyon finishes that deal and who knows what happens to the Lochnar in that one, but
yeah, that's the thing is like some of the transitions from each anthology are like right into the next story, and then some of them are kind of like, all right, this is just another narrative of like the Lochnar being like, so I was in this world and now this was my influence in this world. I turned this girl like into a like the professor's daughter into money hungry.
Right.
And so that was my influence. And then we move into Den, which is like the nerdy kid who finds the asteroid and he takes the Lochnar and throws it into a box, and then he's working on an experiment that activates the Lochnar and gets transported into another world where he becomes a purple muscular bald guy voiced by John Candy. Den of Earth. So one of the most spectacularly funny things about that short is that particular of the anthology is when they're worshiping
Ulatek.
I was like, wow. All right, that's Cthulhu spelled backwards.
I didn't know that until I saw it on IMDb.
Yes.
I have always known that Ulatek was the thing, and I never put
Cthulhu
together it was
backwards.
Cthulhu backwards.
Yeah.
Yep. I was going through. I was like, I'm going to look up some facts I'm going to have on there, and I'm like, oh,
of course,
of course it is.
Of course. Which I thought that was the nerdiest, best thing ever. I mean, it made me laugh.
It did, absolutely. When I read it, I was like, "Of course it is." I mean, it's like that's who these folks are. Like they're deep cut nerds.
They're D&D playing,
absolutely
Lovecraft loving, those kind of heavy metal nerds.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
That was pretty great.
Yeah. That I thought that was really funny of story, and of course, like what I loved about that is also really like nerd. Okay, that's rude. I shouldn't say it like that. Not every nerd does fantasy, but like it is kind of that like fantasy, that nerd fantasy of
close.
you get transported to another world and you're like a handsome stranger.
That's Luke Skywalker up to 11.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just is.
You get to have the hot chicks.
Right. You get zapped off to some other planet. You get to go and be the big hero. Right. Suddenly you've got power that you didn't know you had before. Yeah, it's really great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I love a good like nerd fantasy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nerd. I love that stuff. Man, it's great.
Den, the Den of Earth, the Den story is funny to see just the economics of storytelling on how they're just like moving some stuff along too. So because we're at a point where it's like we get there, there's a woman that's about to be sacrificed. Den rescues her and runs off with her, gets picked up by these other guys. They want to be able to take up Den. Den, like all this stuff is like happening really fast. I just remember this moment where Den is leading a group of guys in the underground and there's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What are they saying? They're talking about a beast that roams these catacombs with 6-inch long teeth. No, 16-inch long teeth. And then immediately the thing jumps out and eats one of the guys and they all go running off through a doorway and then it's done. It's like, they're just like the economics of the storytelling. They're just like the setup payoff is like, what is that? There's a monster. It's done. It ate it. We're gone. Like we just keep going. It was great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love a good, like, tells the story quickly.
Yeah.
Here we go. But I mean, that's kind of like how this, like, that's kind of like a little bit metal aspect of it too. It's like, this is about like the rock and roll of it. And then moving on.
We got 87 minutes. We're moving.
Let's go. And, then it's what the Lochnar falls into. It becomes...
Well, it gets left there because if you remember...
He decides to stay.
He stays there, but if he throws that spear that has the chain on it that sticks into the temple wall, and then the lightning blast hits it, blows up the two people who are trying to compete for the Lochnar as the part of that scepter. Brother. And so it goes rolling down the stairs, and they're all standing around there, and the woman that he rescues says, "You could rule this world. You could take it." And he's like, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to be." It's like, yeah. And so leaves it there. We don't know what happens to it.
Makes you wonder. So, like, that's less of a force of evil situation, other than maybe the brother and sister being these immortal beings and sacrificing people to it. Maybe that's the evil that it affects in that world, because for ultimately, like, Den is like still a pretty good guy. I mean, he's like, I don't want to be a ruler. I just want to be like, I'm not going back to Earth either, where I'm a nerd. Yeah. That's me and naked hot chick. We're going to, take on off.
Well, I think it's very analogous to the One Ring in Lord of the Rings. When you have this thing that can give power and a whole bunch of people are all like, no, I'm going to do good with this thing. But really, it's just going to bring evil about them. And every now and then somebody gets tempted, and there's some positive aspects about being around it or what. But it's like, nope. I'm turning it down. I don't want to have control of that thing.
And that's why the Lochnar moves through space.
And it moves on. Yeah.
Becomes part of Captain Stern's narrative.
Oh, man.
Hanover Fist is a janitor in a space station.
Yeah.
And wandering the space station finds this little ball on the ground and is playing with it. And it unlocks his darker side. And we see this trial unfolding for this terrible person, Captain Stern.
He would never hurt a fly. Unless it was going to be.
So good.
Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah. So Captain Stern is on trial for being this really awful, terrible, Zach Brannigan, terrible guy. He's on trial for a whole bunch of really terrible things. Evil Zach Brannigan.
Wow.
And so, yeah, he's on trial, and they are bringing up a witness, and it's like, I've got an angle, and this guy's supposed to come up there and supposedly be a witness, but he starts freaking out.
He's supposed to be a character builder.
Right, a character witness for Stern.
Ends up becoming a monster influenced by the Lochnar.
Yeah.
But is he I feel like he's not like evil though. He's just like he sees the Lochnar unlocks the evil that I don't know.
Does it? Or was that always the angle? Was that always supposed to be the show that was supposed to go on? Because at the end, when we get to it, he's like, all right, Hanover, you've got this coming to you. And then he pays him off.
Yeah.
Sure thing, boss. I don't think the Lochnar is what gave him the ability to do that, because we're out in space and there's other races, there's all sorts of things. I think that's a shape-shifting guy. That was always supposed to happen.
I never thought about it that way.
I think what the Lochnar did is the Lochnar allowed that guy to remain completely ignorant of what was about to happen to him, so that the bad thing that does happen, which is Stern shoots him out into space and keeps the money.
Yeah.
And that's the evil that's perpetrated by it. And Hanover was always going to turn into that big hulking thing to put on the show.
Oh. And also kill everybody so that,
Yeah.
the trial would no longer be a trial.
Where does that one eyeball robot come from all of a sudden that joins them?
I don't know.
It was like a stenographer robot or something. I don't know what it was, but all of a sudden, while they're making a run for it, that robot joins in the chase and is hanging out with Captain Stern. I'm like, I have no idea where that thing came from. It's super cool and it's awesome. And then when Hanover Fitz gets in close, that thing like beep boops off and then it's gone.
Who plays? I feel like the lawyer was played by somebody.
Well, the prosecutor is played by the guy who was in a ton of stuff. I'm spacing off on his name right now, but he was like the dean in Animal House.
Yeah.
And he's been a
That's
whole
the
bunch
tie
of
into
stuff.
Ramis as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Man, there's like so much crossover in this.
I know.
And I mean, so then the Lochnar is out in space and ends up
That's right, because
showing
it's in
up-
his pocket and he goes floating out into
Right.
space and disappears. So what's our next one after Captain Stern?
B-17.
Oh,
So
that's
it's-
right, because it's re-entering the atmosphere
Let's
back
talk
there.
about.
Yeah, let's talk about B-17.
It's a short piece, but it is
Yeah.
probably one of my second favorites after the Hanover Fist one,
Mm-hmm.
or Captain Stern one, because I think that one is to me has always been the one that really stuck out. Probably because it's Burning Raisins, if I didn't realize. And then it's the B-17 one has beautiful like music happening behind it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is. It's a rotoscope of like these Vietnam.
It's World War II.
World War II, sorry.
Yeah.
Why did I say Vietnam? World War II, people flying
Mm-hmm.
a B-17, and then there's a glowing mass behind them that's following them, and they end up getting into a dogfight, and the mass ends up in the plane,
Yeah.
and suddenly everybody that died on the plane starts coming to life as zombies, and there are things in heavy metal that are going to be like transcendent of heavy metal, and I feel like this is one of those, like imagery wise, like of these like kind of swampy, gross looking like zombies that are like half bones
Yeah.
and like that skeletal crew. There's something like transcendent about that as far as as far as imagery is concerned. And I think that like it definitely, a lot of people were influenced by that imagery specifically. Not just like the rotoscoping was done for like the plane and the people's faces at the beginning, right? But then everything else was like other drawings, so it has this kind
Right.
of shift to it. It almost has a little bit of like Scooby-Doo look to it also. That kind of beautiful like art. Like a few of these are cool and fun and things like that, but then some of these are like, they're like visual art, like walking across the stage or whatever,
Yeah.
but that B-17 piece is like becoming one of my favorites because of the music, and it is so perfectly aligned with how the storytelling progresses in it. And man, what a cool, like, it's gory, but not ridiculous, and it's not a lot of story to it. It's more the like what something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because when they crash, the plane crashes on this island, and then all these other like zombies are kind of climbing out of their planes and wrecked.
Well, we don't see it crash. He jumps.
Oh, that's right. He jumps. That's
Yeah.
right. But he jumps. There's all these other crashed aircraft.
Right. It's almost like a Bermuda Triangle kind of a
Yeah.
thing, which they kind of do a little bit of an Easter egg in there for it being the Bermuda Triangle kind of a thing. When he's parachuting down, and one of the first shots is kind of what's supposed to be kind of a wide shot where they're showing them kind of panning across a whole bunch of aircraft. And there's a Lockheed Electra that's right on the right side of the screen. We see about 3/4 of that, and that's Amelia Earhart's plane with her
I
little
didn't
insignia
realize
and
that
radio
either.
antenna
Look
on
at you.
it.
I didn't know that either.
It was just so it's this Bermuda Triangle kind of.
So we could
an
almost say that
aspect
the
to it.
Lochnar had something to do with the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, being the mysterious place, being its sum of all evil.
Right, which it wouldn't make any sense unless they were bombing Florida, but
Sure. Right.
I don't know why the B-17 would be there, but it was that aspect of trying to have that kind of mysterious place where things had been, planes had been crashing and collecting for a long time. Yeah, I think
a reason why in my head I thought it was crash is because there's crashed airplanes on the
sure,
on
and it
the
obviously
island.
does eventually. Like he kicks it onto autopilot,
Yeah.
so it keeps on flying because there's so much to love about this one. And so when I was a kid, I was a huge B-17 aircraft fan. I made models of these and dioramas of them. Like
wow.
B-17G Flying Fortress was a very specific. It was a huge influence as to part of the reason why America was at least leading in a lot of the European theaters bombing, because of its ability to travel long distances, drop heavy payloads, and just be absolutely trashed by other aircraft. Like it could take all this flat cannon stuff, like them shooting stuff in the air, and then like other airplanes shooting at them. So that was the whole thing. It was this thing is up there and it's just kind of gotten off of this mission, and the co-pilot is going back there to see who survived, which nobody had. And so it's so visceral to see the devastation. And that's a very common story among B-17 crews that would limp those things home with hardly anybody alive. And the thing would look like Swiss cheese, but they were able to fly back.
Wow.
So it's so gut-wrenching to just see all of that. And then you insert the story of the Lochnar and all of these reanimated corpses and everything going on.
So
and then an
scary.
island of that. Oh, man, it's so frightening.
That's the chilling one.
And there's so little dialogue in that. It's so visual. There is so much told to you just visually. And even if you didn't know any of that nerdy stuff about what I was going on about, you don't even need to have all of that information to follow what's going on and just feel how horrifying that whole story is with barely any dialogue.
The music is set so perfect. This one is one of the ones that, I mean, it just hits perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's ambient and spooky and has the right tone and carrying us through the story and onto the island. And I mean, because of the fact that it doesn't have any dialogue, I'm glad they picked good music for it.
Right.
Because it could have easily been like on accident, some journey.
Mm-hmm. It would have been awkward if it had cut to Loving Arms on that one.
Yeah, oh boy.
What's our next vignette?
Let's see. It goes into So Beautiful, So Dangerous.
Is that one the next one?
Yeah, because it goes into... Because So Beautiful, So Dangerous is the...
That's the two aliens that suck up the secretary and the robot scientist.
The secretary's wearing the Lochnar.
Oh, yeah. She's got the Lochnar on her.
Taking notes and talking, and then the robot... or android is giving the
android doctor
doctor scientist is giving notes, and then he sees the Lochnar and it short circuits him,
yes.
right?
And tries to attack her.
So pretty, so dangerous.
Oh,
and it summons an alien ship that sucks her up. And the alien and the android.
That's the thing. Those are totally disassociated things between that. There's an android that has been placed within the governmental system of the and is answering the question, are there aliens? No, there's absolutely no aliens. But then it freaks out about the Lochnar. But then just as aliens arrive to suck him up and take him back for some reason,
as a press conference.
We don't need to know why.
And everybody sees it.
Right.
And I have to say, some of the things that are really cool about this is just the use of how the ship looks versus the animation, how they've it's a very different.
Yes.
And it stands out more. It's almost very juxtaposed almost. The animation has more of a cartoony feel, and then the space station, the spaceship itself is kind of this cool rippling lights and LEDs and has just a very different animation almost to it than the rest of the animation.
It feels like the fidelity of that, I'm going to say this in editing terms, but the fidelity of that asset is just cleaner because it's not being cell animated. It's almost as if it is a solid a solid image because we don't ever rotate around the ship. We're always looking at it only from one angle.
Right.
And so
And it goes up.
right, and it goes up and out of frame. The next time we see it, it's traveling through space and all of the space stuff is moving, but the ship isn't. So
Right.
because we're not panning around it, like the fidelity of that asset is really crisp and clean and sharp and nice because it's not being animated by the next cell and the next cell and the next cell. They're like sliding it over all of the cell animation stuff,
Which is
so it
kind of
stands
cool.
out. Yeah.
Like it makes it, again, this one of the many things that make this movie in general transcendent and like ageless.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the humor, whatever, which
Yeah.
I'm not sweating that stuff. Like I said, yeah. No, this story is not my favorite, but it's also really funny. I think
There's no story to this one. It's just funny.
It's just
I really
really
like
funny.
this one. Yeah, it has no point whatsoever, and
the
it's
like
great.
with like when she has sex with the robot, the secretary ends up having sex with the robot, and the robot's John Candy, and he's like, she's like, "Are you Jewish?" And like,
Oh yeah, are you circumcised?
yeah, I'm like, wait.
What? Oh, that's so good. Well, why won't you marry me? It's like, didn't you guys just suck her up into the ship like a half an hour ago or something?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. While the other guys are getting totally. This is
Baked on Nyborg,
the Nyborg
man.
scene. Yep.
And the music that plays when they're traveling on this ship.
That's Cheap Trick.
That's Cheap Trick.
Yep,
And
that's
it's
Reach Out.
So good. Oh
yeah, that's one of the best ones ever.
Good scene with that. Like it's set perfectly. Like they're stoned, and you're like,
Yeah.
The way that Cheap Trick song kind of comes in, and like it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many thoughtful like choices, and then there's also some things you're like, what the hell? But I thought that was smart. I mean, I was never into those characters. I never really liked that particular short. I don't know if it just I didn't get it like when I was a kid. But watching it now is good. And then it brings us into what? Tarna, right?
Yeah, that takes us right into Tarna.
Yeah. And I loved that silent hero. It's I think that it has some cool. It has that feel of like almost like Conan, but like more modern. This also very Mobius. Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, this is the one this is some of the parts of this, and that's what I was saying.
This is the part that definitely like the creature that she rides on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mobius. And the way some of the priests look, that's very Mobius style. But, I've said it enough.
And the Tarna story is a really great one. So this is one where the Lochnar ends up coming up onto a planet that seems to be fine. It's like settlers and whatnot, and it crashes into a volcano, and they go to inspect it, and then they're all swamped over by a green lava flow of some kind, and that converts them all over into his
Mutants.
dark mutant minion. So he's got now a giant army of folks. Death to all who oppose us, for no reason, and then they just start laying waste to every other settlement on the planet.
Which makes
and
them
ruin
summon
things.
Tarna.
Yeah, it does. Yep. Yeah, and that's that whole.
Their mythology moved quickly too.
It did. But it's an interesting sequence. It moves really quickly, but they have there's that neat exposition part in there because the bad guys are laying siege to that city, and the city is like, some of the elders are saying we have to take up arms, and it's like, we're not fighters. What is that going to do? But we have to summon this, these people that we have the agreement with. They're the fighters. They're going to come and do the thing. We're not. It's like, well, the people are right at their gates, and they're like, well, but we still have to summon them. They do it. Everybody dies. But that whole thing that we then go through with Tarna, that whole idea of this ancient race of people who are the guardians and the protectors. Mm-hmm. And if they can't be there to guard, and if they can't be there to protect, then the order is vengeance.
Right.
And so she's just an instrument of vengeance at that point in time. It's so cool.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
I mean, it is one of the cooler stories. I want to pet that bird.
Yeah.
I want to pet that dog.
And you had mentioned too earlier that she is a rotoscoped character. Not all of them are throughout it, but that one, yeah, they actually had a live action person that did all of that.
that little part, and it was interesting because they had her wear white tape in the spots where they were going to put her costume, which I thought that was neat because we see rotoscoping, or not rotoscoping, but like CGI, like that was like the infancy of that.
Right. Yeah, where they'll kind of like mark something that's going to end up having all of that CG stuff installed onto it later on. Right, exactly. Yeah. Or motion capture stuff is very common where you see Robert Downey Jr. running around in a gray suit with marks and little balls on it, and that becomes Iron Man.
Like the guy who plays Godzilla in the legendary films.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So, so we have this really great sequence of Tarna armoring up and heading off with her little beast to go and get revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one does become a little bit tough. I was a little bit surprised at how I don't know how many times I've watched this thing, and even when I watched it again last night just to have a fresh watch of it, but watching it in the theater, I was like, damn, I don't want anything to happen to that creature. I really like it.
I know. I want to pet that
dog.
I want to boop its snoot. I want to pet that dog.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that thing is so cute.
Yeah.
It is the cutest. And it looks, and then of course we get it at the end, and it's such a good little wraparound. But the story of Tarna is simple and it carries well, and like all this whole thing is, I feel like it is a timeless story, and I love how every segment is nowhere and somewhere and everywhere.
And that's actually a title of there's a deleted scene that's called Nowhere.
Yeah, Nowhere Land.
Yeah.
But wasn't that what the land that Den goes to is called?
No, that one's called Den. Nowhere is a removed scene. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I saw that there was like a bonus. It's a bonus somehow. Like I don't have the Blu-ray obviously, but
yeah.
Maybe it's worth watching.
Yeah, well, if I can find that, or
I'll be
if it's
curious
got
as to
that
how
on
it fits
there.
in the story.
Yeah, because this film was just littered with all sorts of problems, and there was licensing agreements with all the music, and I think that was where Nowhere Land had its problem, was that it had a licensing agreement problem that came about from the whole thing. So, it was a monumental feat to get all of that music in there and get it licensed, and and that might be one of the reasons why it didn't do so well in the theaters, because
I just think the audience for this is not your standard audience. This is definitely,
I would agree.
This is smarter and silly, and not for. I don't think this was made for the average audience.
Yeah.
But it is so. Kind of like the other musical movie we talked about is thoughtful.
Yeah.
And that, like, it had an audience specific. I don't know how did it do in the box office. Do you know?
I don't know how it did in the box office. I don't remember back then. I never saw this film until probably around 88 or 89. So it had been out 7-8 years by the time I even saw it. And again, it was VHS, kid. Right?
Yeah.
I was in high school by the time I saw it. So I didn't. I don't know that I knew how it did in the theaters. But the thing is I knew about heavy metal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew about the magazine for sure. Mm-hmm. Like I remember going to
definitely
to go to there was a place Memphis called Hastings or something like that, and you would pick up magazines like Spin and things like that, and heavy metal was always there.
Yeah.
I remember perusing books of heavy metal and picking up the ones I liked, like bands that I was into or whatnot. Mm-hmm. I was kind of a goth at the time, so I didn't really have much taste.
Was that in the days of Kirkus Review?
Yeah, I think so. I was definitely more of a industrial nation kind of kid, and carpe noctem. Yeah.
This film was so much fun. I'm so glad that we got to both go to the Hollywood Theater, see this again. 35 millimeter was so great. Packed theater, so much fun. It was just so much fun.
The best part about it is getting to see this with an audience is also not only when you're laughing at those jokes on your own, at home watching this, but getting to hear an audience's reaction to it.
Yeah.
And I remember when the bird gets killed, and people are like, like the audience was very gasping at that. And then when the bird is reborn and then meets up with the little girl from the Grimaldi beginning, and then that all of it gets like she suppresses the evil. And I think that is it's that turnaround was good for an audience, and I think that it was cute watching the audience's reaction to a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's a great point that we hadn't mentioned yet. Yeah. The whole thing comes full circle, and that she is the next Tarakian.
If she wasn't already the first.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she just didn't realize it. I guess that's the part of it is that she is realized to be the next protector of whatever aspect. Yeah. So we're introduced to the evil at the beginning, which is the Lochnar, but now we get to exit with knowing that there is the antecedent to that, the good, which is the Tarakian.
Good can be good without evil.
I know, supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What a great film. This was a great watch.
Yeah, I'd agree. I agree.
But that means we've got another movie that we're going to be watching next episode. And what movie is that going to be, Gretchen?
I want to kind of shift gears. We've been doing a lot of these 80s films, but there is I don't know if this is a well-loved. I feel like there's not a lot of people that know about this that are big fans of Akira Kurosawa films, but Dreams.
Oh,
we're going to talk about Dreams. I love this movie. I love all the movies we talk about, honestly, but like this one is a fever dream that is beautiful. It actually one of the segments is a fever dream.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful anthology, and I figured I'm feeling like I want to talk about anthology movies. Why not? So Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. It's our next watch.
I'm in.
Okay.
I will be here for it. Well, as always, Gretchen, thank you so very much for doing this.
Yeah,
I love watching movies with you.
I love watching movies with you, man. It's always fun to talk about movies with you.
It's so
I like
good.
your perspectives, and it's always a good time. I always have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, everyone, thanks so much. This is the Check the Gate podcast, and we are not on Patreon, and we're not making money off of this show. We rely solely on you as an audience to be able to help us out. So if you can, please share this podcast where it can be downloaded or where you can watch it on YouTube. Subscribe, do all of those fun things. Come and talk with these films about it. Leave comments. See us on Instagram.
Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We appreciate all of you who listen to our podcast on an audio format, but also please interact with our YouTube channel.
Please do. Yes, absolutely. This is for us and an audience. We would love for you to be able to check all of this out and talk with us about it. But until next time, Gretchen, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.